even if they had shaky lanes, they turned it in the end. So, you can't predict it either way, no matter what you see in the very beginning here. These teams have different strengths.
All right, Moscow 5 definitely better at coming back in games. I mean, even the very first game of the day I think we saw, which was M5 versus Curse, Curse NA was ahead in a lot of that game, and then Moscow 5's team fighting really just took it home. So picks and bans right away. Evelyn and Lee Sin banned away from Moscow 5 for Team WE. Don't want Alex on Eve, and the Lee Sin is just known from down procs. And then Zyron Blitzcrank, those are just straight up support bans for FZZF. You know, he likes those things, but I don't think that's not going to take him away from anything. Those are just things M5 doesn't want to play against.
Well, exactly. And Ghosty Pepper is one of those players that kind of plays like 2 to 3 champions at a time. Most people don't ban out support very heavily, and so they're kind of just like saying, well, we're going to pick one of these 2 champions, and Ghosty Pepper will just repeatedly pick the same 2 champions over the course of a tournament and just remove other options.
And you know what? Moscow 5's probably going to get Diana out of this. This is what WE used to beat Blaze, and what maybe they're messing with me, but Diana has been a very contested pick.
Yeah. Fnatic
used it to destroy Azubu Blaze in the group that WE is just coming out of, and WE actually used it against Fnatic. And the big thing here that I'm expecting from WE at some point is a Maokai, because in over 60% of Moscow 5's games since IPL Face-Off, they've banned Maokai. They really don't play against him. Diamond Prox does not play it. As far as I know, he hasn't picked it up, and it's been left unbanned. On top of that...
You know what else hasn't been banned? You're going to say it. Go ahead.
Sorry, on top of that... No, I'm not. You can cover it.
Okay.
Their jungler, Clear Love, really just... Are they going to pick a Moo? Damn it.
Okay. No, I'm sorry.
Keep
that
going.
was your call. That was your call.
Good
so
job.
Twisted Fate hasn't been banned from Messiah. Like, if he doesn't pick it, I'm going to be really sad. But I was talking with Crepo, like, while he was watching the matches up on stage and everything, and he's like, I mean, yeah, like, Froggen could keep up with Messiah in lane, but, like, you ban the Twisted Fate. Like, you ban the Twisted Fate. You don't let WE have Twisted Fate on Messiah. It's just a bad idea.
Yeah, he's only got to play it once since IPL Face-Off, and they were victorious. So
1-0.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost always banned. I missed that entirely, but, you know, they don't expect Alex to play it because they obviously picked Diana right away. Only Voyboy, I think, has played Diana in the top lane. So that's most definitely a mid lane matchup. That's a very dangerous matchup for Twisted Fate, I'd have to say. Especially once he hits 6, he can't protect himself that well.
And I think that's part of what M5 was thinking, right? Is that, like, Alex really loves playing Twisted Fate in general. It's one of his favorite champions. And they kind of knew with the bans coming out there, it's like, okay, well, they either give us Diana or they ban Diana and take Twisted Fate. Or, you know, something like that, right? Like if they ban out Diana, M5 could take TF for themselves. If they don't, then they get Diana, which is pretty much a free lane against TFs, and they can just kind of snowball that lane down. I know M5's really, really good at getting their jungle into the mid lane, crushing down on the opposition. Should work pretty well if they go for it.
So they're holding off on that mid lane pick really until the very end. I wonder if there's any particular reason for that. Twisted Fate would be a good prediction. What Moscow 5 might close out the team comp with here, they've taken Corki away. Genja's been playing a whole bunch of Ashe, but they've been comboing that with Nunu in all these games. The fact that they've went with Tarek, who they have a very good success rate with, makes me think they're going to go with something a bit more aggressive in the lane. Ashe is more of a sit back and poke and wait for late game.
Yeah.
This is not really the M5 strategy going here, but Jack's in the top lane. That wouldn't surprise me if they finish that off. And then AD carry, I really couldn't guess it.
I mean, so it's a lot of all-in melee. Okay, so it's going to be Tristana in here. Yeah, so this team is like super crazy all-in and jumps on things, and then Genja's like crazy in the background. The thing is, he's going to be out of range of Sona Crescendo and of Amumu's ultimate in general. So like, I actually like this from Genja. I actually like Tristana's one of my favorite AD carries, and as long as you survive the mid game, which M5 tends to do really well at the very, very end, like you can never be touched.
And they got the Twisted Fate.
There it is.
Bam, right in. So. Got one prediction of all of it. We did it. We got one. Good work.
So I'm now expecting the scores below us, the 54-46, to become 20-80 as soon as everyone's like, oh, World Elite Twisted Fate, game over. Like that's like I cannot hype his Twisted Fate enough, and I'm gonna cry if like he gets ganked really hard and goes 0-4 and I just look terrible. But
it is known as the best Twisted Fate in the world.
Yes.
Right? If anyone hasn't seen it, go look up Messiah Twisted Fate Zhonya's in one of these games. It was a stalemate about 40 minutes in. As we get a dodge, they'll probably just making some rune pages, and my monitor falls over. But anyway, he uses ultimate in the Baron Pit, Twisted Fate's ult right into a team, and as he does that, as soon as he gets there, he Zhonya's, and that baits Alistair's Pulverize, Vladimir ult, Ezreal ult, everything flies through. Then Messiah's Malphite comes in as well and they just mop the floor because he baited everything with his Zhonya's. It was such a simple play, but it just showed his mastery over the champion because no one had thought of that before they saw that play.
Well, Tree Eskimo at IPL
Flash
IPL 4,
Zhonya's.
the Flash Zhonya's from Sion. That was a really good move. Hey, there we go. We're up to what? We have the wrong predictions down here. Nani was going to win half the games apparently.
Well, Nani won 50-50 against
them
himself.
undead players, man.
Sense.
All right, so Anyway, yeah. So again, two amazing teams coming at it here. M5 really was something to prove for themselves. You know, like you said, they haven't had a great result since top four world championship. Pretty dang good. Let's be fair, right? They're obviously one of the best teams in the world, but we didn't see them do anything for a while after that, and they're now here to say. And they've had to have done their research, of course, right? They know other top teams like this. They know Twisted Fate's there and is a really good champion, and they're like, Alex, we trust you.
And Moscow 5 came out and said that they boot camped and practiced really harder for this tournament than they have for a while. Like they're really, really going a lot on this tournament, and this is going to be a very cool tournament because this is really our last chance to see these guys play big time on Season 2 with a lot of the changes coming out very shortly. And it's just, man, I want to see how Moscow 5 adapts because giving up Twisted Fate to Messiah, they really need to have something planned because that is flirting with disaster right there.
It's interesting, you know. And you see a lot of these players have similar things. I mean, you saw the instant, Evelyn ban, right? A lot of these guys are knowing, like, Alex, we know your Evelyn's amazing. We'll take that away from you because it's scary. The Lee Sin ban, right? W is all about respect bans, right? They're all about it. Like, we're going to remove these options. And M5 is really just like, I mean, yes, okay. There are bands that make sense with Cho'Gath and whatnot, and Blitzcrank and Zyra. Like, those are all great, amazing champions. It's fine. But, like, that's like the one champion that you would normally respect ban against this team, and they're cool with it. They've got this pick phase like planned out, and they think Diana with Xin Zhao in the jungle is going to work.
So what would they have planned actually to deal with Twisted Fate? Because Diana can try to kill him initially, and Diana also has strong ganks going bottom lane. Top lane, though, Darius just seems like he's just waiting to get killed by TF and Olaf. Like, once he gets a Twisted Fate gank off on Darius, he doesn't have the tools to escape. He's really going to have to win that lane hard, and mainly Alex is really going to have to be beating up on Messiah's Twisted Fate. Otherwise, I could see him coming across with this game.
Well, as far as early pressure is concerned, I actually think they have a good chance of shutting down Xiaomei because you've got Xin Zhao's going to jump in, knock him into the air. You've got Darius going to pull him back. By that point, like, Olaf's going to start dying. That pre-6, like, I don't see how Olaf gets away from that kind of a gank. He's got Ghost instead of Flash. Like, as soon as Xin Zhao tries to go for something, like, he's going to get that combo going.
Could be a 1v2 lane.
It could be. I mean, and Tarek in general is kind of one of those 1v2 sort of screaming sort of moments where...
That would be a 1v2 kill lane, whereas the Lulu is a 1v2 push lane. There's actually a bit of a distinction there that hadn't realized before this tournament when we saw, like, why is the Nunu Ashe not pushing in the 2v1 lane? It's like, oh, because it's Nunu and he doesn't push that well, right?
Yeah, but he's going to zone you super hard. Like, you've got double slows in that lane. Ashe's going to get hasted up. Like, any guy who kind of faces that is going to have a rough time. And in the same case here, right? You've got Tristana with really long range, with explosive shot, with the rocket jump to slow down as well. Tarek just crazy burst you to stun as well. Now, the thing is, though, I actually don't like that on M5's side because Olaf is one of the best 1v2s in the game. He's got long range. He gets spell vamp at level 2. He can start throwing undertow down to pick up minion kills. He's got a pretty low cooldown. Like, you compare it to Shen, who's going to do a pretty good job because he's got the Vorpal Strike. Like, it's even better for Olaf. And he also combos to ganks better, too. Like, if his Jungler Judge Drop move finally comes into gank, undertow's got like 1,000 range. He's going to land that slow and set something up there. Like, if I'm WWE, I'm okay with, at least in my opinion, I'm okay with Olaf getting 1v2 there, whereas Darius, he doesn't have tools like that.
Very true. Olaf is picked for 1v2 lanes, and Darius is getting 1v2 lanes picked against him to shut him down. And we have a pause.
We've paused.
But something should be sorted away shortly. You know, we were just talking about the team comps. We can continue doing that. The big thing about this that I'm surprised this tournament is Lulu being the most important support, not seeing her in this game at all, and Amumu getting seen a whole lot more because he's someone who's been immensely strong for a while, but teams felt he was very exploitable early in the jungle. You could invade his buffs, and I feel like the game has evolved at least early long enough, and especially with teams having to play with Maokai, who's also vulnerable early, they may have finally realized that they could just play Amumu as well. And then once they get the teamfight presence, it really just crushes once you get to the dragon fights, once he hits level 6 with his ganks. And you can see Moscow 5 definitely represented it. And then, you know, I really like how WE just took it away from him.
Yeah, it's really good. It was a really good, you know, choice there, and it's a good adaptation, of course, throughout the tournament. Right? You tried to call that a Mumu pick earlier on. We did see Genja play it and land like super like max range bandage tosses in mid lane to shut down Curse in the very first game of the day, or at least the very last one. I'm sorry, I don't remember which Curse game it was, but you know, it worked really, really well for him overall. And you know, the thing to sort of point out here is that, you know, yeah, these guys have gotten better and better at level 1 fights, and we've actually seen some of the games this tournament like decided by those early battles where, you know, and one of them, Aframu got like a triple kill at level 1 against Iceland, and just like fear crushed the game from then on. Because it was like, well, our AD carry is 900 gold, so I guess we win this game now. And just, we'll play out the 20 minutes. And that's happened sometimes. And so, you talked about the blue getting stolen and how difficult that can be for mana-dependent junglers. It's very difficult overall. And these players are getting better at these level 1 fights, and they're like, okay, well, we know we have an unsafe, sort of setup, so we're going to like ward our blue, sit somewhere else, we'll see which way you go for, and then they'll just run for the buff at the end. And they've been a lot better at sort of protecting their jungler and letting that level 1 start go a lot better, and then suddenly that biggest weakness of a Mumu falls off and needs to farm and catch up, and then you're fine.
So it looks like we've actually had to remake the game entirely, so we can all just be a few minutes, and then we'll get in there. But you can see the voting actually on the screen, 52 to 48. This is about as close as I'd call this game, too. I'd actually say World Elite, if you're going off the recent results of this tournament, would be a little bit higher. But Moscow 5, definitely a more well-known team. No one really knows that much about World Elite aside from the giant set they played against CLG EU. They've been dominating over in China. In all honesty, they, since the World Championships, have played in, it was 2 tournaments, I believe. They beat their companion Chinese team. They won the, what was it, Esports Masters or something?
World Esports Masters, I think.
World Esports Masters as well. That was up against, I know Curse was there. I know some European teams were there as well.
Invictus was there, I think.
Yeah, Invictus Gaming was definitely there. And they have been looking really strong, and it feels like their roster is finally gelling for those guys. And I just, looking at that percentage, feel like if you're trying to bet to win, it's going to be like 51 for World
I mean,
Elite.
hey, I have slightly better odds now if I bet on WE. I mean, we are in Vegas after all. So, heck, Reginald, if you want to bet me again on this game, if you're anywhere here, we'll go for it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel bad because I keep kind of rehashing the same point over and over. But, like, this is the match where I'm just like, okay, so we're up last in the day, so we're getting one of those winner bracket games. And I'm just, like, checking constantly which game's it going to be. Which game's it going to be? And it's WEM5, and I'm like, I scored a really good one.
This could very well be one of the best sets in the entire tournament, right? This is something when you see an international tournament getting hosted, these are one of the games that you hope happens, right? It's just Moscow 5, even though they've fluttered a little bit lately, just known as they're Moscow 5. They're probably the best team in the world is what everyone's been thinking for the past 4, 5, 6 months. And then Team WE, best team in China for so long. It's just, we know what the picks and bans are. It's just a matter of getting this game underway.
Yeah, and so what do you kind of see happening at the very beginning here, right? We talked a little bit about that Mumu invade, and he's blue dependent, and it's a little bit risky for him. Like, do you think M5 just charges in and goes for it? Like, they've got Tarek, they've got a good level 1, Diana can check brush, like, they've got a decent setup for this whole thing. Are they going to go for something aggressive?
So what happens in so many of these games nowadays is they'll just kind of go put wards in each other's Wraith brushes, and then just jostle and essentially avoid each other if they can. So I think Moscow 5 is going to be looking to press the issue, but Team WE is probably going to ward their own jungle to know where Moscow 5 comes in, and they're going to try to go either into Moscow 5's jungle or just avoid them in their own jungle. And we have only seen, I think, well, I haven't seen all the games, obviously, because they've been everywhere.
Yeah.
1 or 2 level 1 fights in the plethora of games we saw this entire day. Teams are very good at avoiding fights level 1, and I think it's going to be WE just doing their best to not fight M5 early on.
Yeah, we'll see if that ends up being, the really big deal here. The other thing I want to kind of bring up, because it's an international tournament, people are traveling from all around. I want to talk a little bit about jet lag and travel difficulties.
Oh, yeah.
Because these guys actually both came from China. M5 was over there playing show matches at the Tencent Gamers Assembly. And so these guys are both coming from the same continent. They should actually have a pretty similar situation as far as tiredness is concerned.
Yeah, so luckily it was about, I know that Joe Miller and D-Man were complaining about 30-hour flights from Singapore. I think China would be slightly less, but nonetheless, they arrived Tuesday night. So they had the whole Wednesday to recover, and then today. It's going to be a bit of an issue, but I think because they arrived early enough, they should be okay. The only potential concern there is this has been a really long day.
Yeah.
Moscow 5 played the first game. They also had one more group stage game than WE. So fatigue might be setting in more so for Moscow 5 than it would be for Team WE if I had to guess.
That's a fair settlement, yeah. And actually, I know looking around at the Singapore Sentinels as well. Like I was in the elevator with them going up last night, and they're just like kind of leaning on the wall, just like almost falling asleep. They were actually in the background here, like waiting for their last game against Solo Mid, and they were like a little bit falling over and kind of like leaning on their chairs as well. So some of these teams have actually traveled very poorly.
Jet lag is a real thing.
It's a real thing, and
It
it definitely hurts some of these guys. And you know, we kind of saw that from SGS at the IPL face-off a few months back. But it seems like these guys, you're kind of looking around, and you can kind of tell on their faces as well. If they're smiling, they're kind of joking around. Like, they're usually kind of up, and they're mentally there. And I feel like in both these cases, I've seen them be animated enough that I think they're both mentally here, and that they're going to be good to go.
Yeah, and Moscow 5 did just play. There's been a bit of a delay since the last group stage game, but they just played on the main stage. They didn't even have to change computers, so they might be slightly more comfortable than Team WE when they come into this. But actually, no, I'm not going to do it.
Did WE play the stage game against, because I wasn't here for it, I was on the other stream, but...
Right, that must have been, WE versus Blaze must have been on the main stage. I'm not sure, though.
I would have guessed so, yeah. I know WE versus Fnatic was off stage, and I know WE, yeah. So anyway, but we are getting most of the way through Champion Select. We've got 12 seconds left in that. The picks, of course, the same as before. Darius in the top lane, jungle Xin Zhao. In the mid, it's going to be Diana, and then Tristana and Taric is that bottom lane for
Moscow
M5
5,
BenQ.
yep.
Yeah.
And then Team WE has top lane Olaf, jungle Amumu, mid lane Twisted Fate, which is Messiah, and Wei Zhao and FZZF on Corki and Sona. So, you know, that's the team WE wanted, in all honesty. And that's a team that I haven't seen M5 play before, but that's because they've been practicing. You know, I haven't seen Alex play much Diana. Darian playing Darius is something he used to play a lot of, but then kind of shied away from. I like the way M5 is bringing out new stuff.
And it's interesting because they're also playing those individual champions a bit differently as well. Like, Darian's been rushing Warmogs in every single game I've seen so far. He's always like a tanky top laner guy, and you know, he's always stacking health, always going heavy durability, and just like being the major initiator, like tank guy for that team. He's been in that role almost every single time.
That really fits him fairly well. A lot of times, at least in that last game against Curse, he almost withstood 5 members for about 10 seconds, taunted away, allowed Alex to come in and clean up for a pentakill, and it was just because he just built straight tank. And Darius can build straight tank and still do a fair amount of damage. So that's another thing that fits him, as long as he can survive that laning phase with the Messiah ganks coming in at level 6.
And if you're Messiah, who do you really focus on, right? I mean, I guess it's a little bit hard to gank Tristana because of the rocket jump, but would you really just rather gank a Bruiser?
I've seen Messiah play Twisted Fate before, and he really doesn't care, right? Like, he will look to whatever lane has the biggest advantage at the time and then go for that. So if their Wei Zhao FZZF lane pushes fairly aggressively, he'll be going there, or if Darian gets in a bit of trouble, he'll be going there. He looks to snowball more so than to aid, so whichever lane is winning, he will try to finish it off.
Okay, so expect to see, so whoever does well is going to get even more help and just start crushing as a one-man army. We can see both teams starting to square off. Immediately, WE looking like a defensive position. Everyone is splitting off to their various sides. Salmai up there, a very fast ward. Watching Tribush, look at that. It's going to find Diamond and Darian up in the top. They know all about that. There's the ping going off. So right now, any early aggression from M5 BenQ is going to get spotted.
Yep, WE warding their own jungle because they are very much playing on the defensive. They want Amumu to be able to start safely. So many pings going down as soon as they think someone is there. They're pinging to say they saw Alex. I'm not sure if they saw him over in that brush, but they definitely see Diamond and Darian
30 seconds until
potentially looking for a delayed invade, maybe for the red buff or the double golems. But look at this. They're actually going to put, I think, a ward in. Yep.
Wow, that is 3 early wards here from WE. One from the top laner, Salmai picked that one up, and then, you know, FZZF putting out 2 himself. Salmai actually still waiting around towards the top. Is he going to, like, do Wraiths at 1 and let him move up other jungles? He's just kind of still waiting around for invade.
So, Salmai did start with the teleport, and so often we've seen those teleport Olafs. This is something Moscow 5 did back in Kiev. They'll do a jungle camp that will take them significantly low base, and then use their teleport to get back with substantial health potions.
They're going
not letting Alex walk through back there.
No, and actually, I think Salmai would win that fight anyway. I don't think Alex would get a whole lot of armor early on. So
delayed invade bottom as well.
Oh man, yep, they're going to go in and try to stop the double golems. Looks like they're going to get that one pretty much for free. Clear Love still waiting around as well. It's going to be the first golem pickup for them. The second one still theirs. Ghost Pepper's still waiting around in the side. Genja shows up as well. I don't think he wants to waste Smite. No, he won't have to. Clear Love going to get that one. And there's the pull onto red. That's completely perfect for them. But meanwhile, M5 are stealing the red themselves. Diamond's going to get that one without any worries. Uses Smite on that as well.
So this is really what people do when they have vulnerable junglers, is they'll look to counter jungle. Oh no, Xiaomei's caught up on Alex.
Oh, this is not good. He's going to have to teleport out. Alex has no way of stopping him. So the blue steal is not going to get a steal, but at least he won't die for it. Teleport having had to be used defensively. A good read by Alex though to realize that was happening.
And that's actually going to hurt him a fair bit, because now Xiaomei used his teleport to get away instead of get back to lane. So Darian's going to get level 2 substantially first. He's going to lose pretty much a whole level, probably 2 waves of minions for going for that play. Olaf going to be struggling in the top lane. Getting back to the jungle matchup, though, you can see Clearlove just picking up that blue buff. So he's double buffed, level 3 at 2 minutes 45 seconds. And Diamond also getting the double buffs. It's because of all the early wards they invested. They took their early game weakness and made it into something that actually helped them with the early wards. They got the upper hand with their position.
And you know, a really, really good opening overall. And they were so close, of course, too. This time actually getting up that golem himself and you know, taking away 3 buffs to 1 early on. It was very, very close right there. We can see the trades in the bottom lane, the trades in the middle. Messiah right now losing a little bit of health. However, Alex is running a bit low on mana. He had spent a lot of it dealing with Olaf early on. Goes, oh wow, Genja getting poked pretty low right here. F7 really playing aggressively. Goes to Pepper, pushed toward the back as well. Diamond going for a gank, but he's still been warded out. The thing is,
that was
no,
a
they
good
never knew it was
ward
warded in the first place. Yeah.
That ward gave them so many benefits. Xiaomei does have to worry a little bit about getting dove because the ward's worn out. Darien gets that to the turret. Xin Zhao and Darius do some of the highest combined level 3 damage in the game. They could very well just burst him down under the turret since he only has Ghost if they get the wave there. But Darien really taking his time. No rush getting this to the turret, which tells me they're not looking to dive. And there goes Diamond. He's not going for it.
And Clearlove actually immediately ran back to the top lane after recalling too. So he was like very afraid of that gank happening. Looks like they've read that properly though. He's running back down. We can see this bottom lane though. Very aggressive though. Constantly, Wei Zhao is putting on the pressure. You can see 22 to 13 in minion kills is a huge difference. That's already plus 10 at 4 minutes. That's a pretty big deal. They're already at 500 gold.
So that's actually very impressive. Bottom lane, Wei Zhao just doing dividends, and that's going to be a very poke-heavy lane. The big thing about the Taric-Sona matchup in the bottom is if Taric can get his mitts on Sona, it's great, but if he doesn't get the right stuns, the Sona lane just snowballs. Looking mid lane as well, Messiah and Alex. Even though Alex used that mana early, he's keeping very even in the mini kills. The 1 through 5 laning phase of both Twisted Fate and Diana is actually pretty weak, so I think they're pretty content just trading farm with each other.
Yeah, and they're just kind of poking back. Messiah with the slight advantage because he's got blue cards. He can actually use his mana to harass a little bit and get that back up. Diamond actually waiting around as he...
Clearlove ganking top.
Oh yeah, he's going to show up for this one. Darien waiting around in the brush. He's not recalling back, so I think they're going to be happy to wait around and try to go for this one. Clearlove is seriously like the most patient person ever, just waiting around in the brush and not doing anything.
And they know that Xin Zhao is bottom, so there's no potential for a counter gank here. Darien knows there's a danger here, and Xiaomei actually doesn't know if Darien's recalled by now since he's been gone for so long. And because of that, they actually just assumed Darien was gone, and Clearlove's leaving from the gank.
That's actually hilarious. Nice play by Darien. And the entire time, of course, he gets experience for it, so that's a really good read. And he's like, hey guys, I was here the whole time. Nice gank, bro.
It's one of those things that some of these players do, and it's an underutilized skill, is just denying your opponent vision. That's what Darien did so well there. For all they knew, he was been missing for the last 30 seconds, but that was the right moment to go missing, and it completely wasted WE's time.
That's just a great move, yeah. So there we go, the gank up in the mid lane. Diamond really going for it. Oh, at the last possible second, the gold card lands, stuns him, keeps him from knocking up Messiah, and he's going to walk away from this one pretty safely. But it's going to get scarier as soon as Diana hits level 6. She can dive in there and pull him back.
But this game in general is actually fairly crazy. Every single lane is winning for WE just by a little bit. Xiaomei was beating Darien just up until now, but goes back and buys 2 Dorn Shields on Olaf. With the Twisted Fate passive combined, everyone getting an extra 2 gold on every last hit. They're already up 1,000 gold 6 minutes into the game. And this is that pre-20-minute Team WE that we saw in the World Championships. They are so good at laning, and they just constantly, persistently outfarm their opponents, and they're doing it again to M5.
Yeah, and the biggest one, I think, really is this bottom lane. You're seeing Wei Zhao versus Genja on your screen, and they're just, I mean, you can see Genja's like forced towards the back. Wei Zhao's got full mana. He's happy to kind of just poke at everything. Anytime someone steps forward, he takes a rocket to the face. Foster's Bomb comes out. They're constantly out-aggressing this lane overall. Goes to Pepper down to half health, and everyone here from WE, full health, full mana basically. You can see the gold difference there was actually pretty substantial. 1,900 to 1,500. I mean, that is where most of that lead's coming from, is just Wei Zhao beating up on Genja.
It's a lot to do with the Sona as well. Tristana normally follows a strange power curve where she's strong early, weak mid, and then strong again late. But the fact that he's lost early just means it's going to get even worse mid-game because Corki, due to all the spell casts he does, actually, once he gets Trinity Force, is one of the strongest AD carries in the game. Just damage-wise and everything else. This is going to be a huge power spike for WE when they get to that point in the lane. And you can see Diamond's looking to gank, but because there's a pink ward in that brush, they know exactly where he's coming from. And they should look to back away, but they really just don't care. There's such an advantage in that lane that they're just pressing them into the turret consistently.
Oh, that was a good read, actually. Messiah actually started running down to the bottom. As soon as Xin Zhao passed through that ward, Messiah ran down toward the bottom of the map, saying if you dive in on us, he's just simply going to Destiny in there and stop the push. And M5 read that and said, you know what, never mind, you're right, we're not going to do this with Fate yet.
Yeah, Messiah waiting patiently, level 7, yet to use his ultimate, sitting on about half mana. He's just trying to deny vision, but Alex doing a good job pushing up. I want to look at top lane, though, and talk about this double Thorn Shield build by Olaf a little bit. So many times against Darius, people just try to stack armor, and then they get killed because Darius's passive does magic damage and his ultimate does true damage. The proper thing to do is get health with your armor, and that's exactly what he's done by getting those 2 Thorn Shields. So Xiaomei is going to be doing very well in that lane, and you can see Darian had to counter that with an Elixir of Fortitude just because you get so much early power from double Thorn Shield.
And I mean, actually something we saw happen at the World Playoffs as well, is he rushed that red Elixir at the top lane.
He does it a lot.
He just does it. It's a lot of stats coming out of nowhere. Honestly, a lot of people forget the item exists, and they'll dive you, and you'll get down to like 100 health, and suddenly you've gained 300 back, and the dive suddenly fails, and he kind of just counterattacks you. And heck, being Darius, he's got a lot of counterattack damage available to him. So we'll see if he ends up baiting in and out with it, or if he's just going to kind of play the farm lane and it'll just sit in his inventory for a while.
Yeah, Darian especially recognizes how snowbally top lane can be, and sometimes getting that Elixir Fortitude, he's really the only player who doesn't in top lane, can give him the swing, but I don't see that happening with Xiaomei, and this has really been, even with the jungle invades, because of all the wards, a very passive game thus far. Right now it seems like M5 is slightly afraid to do anything because they're worried about Messiah teleporting in, and then WE is just not doing anything because they know they're consistently out-farming them, now 1,400 gold ahead, so they're content just playing this lane phase.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, M5, their bottom lane is stuck up against their turret constantly. I mean, I'm just seeing repeated pushing from Corki and Sona, and you don't really want to just dive them on top of their turret so much if you're WE. So the only place they really have anywhere to go is that top lane, and it just doesn't seem available to them. Darian's pretty tanky. Sammy's not really getting any free damage on him, so he's not available for killing.
And if this is a game that we could see the AD carry go Ninja Tabi, it would be it with WE Wei Zhao, because it's a trend we saw a little bit in the European players, Intel's of the lane, and you can already see 2 members of WE getting those Ninja Tabi. Xiaomei and ClearLove both got them very early on. Everyone on M5 is doing physical damage, save Diana, and that is a lot compared to your normal setups. So normally you get a bit more magic damage coming in from the jungler, maybe a little bit more top lane. There's just not coming out this game at all. Ping's going down. No one really able to get ganks off. Neither jungler has picked up, only one jungler has picked up an Oracle's Elixir, and that's going to be what's creating things right now, because WE has been warding super heavily, and until M5 gets an Oracle's, they won't be able to counterattack anything.
And so they're just going to keep just removing vision. And at this point, they actually are, I would think, durable enough and damaging enough that they could dive almost any of these turrets if they get everyone together. You know, you've got the level 6 Twisted Fate, so you can show up whenever you want. A Mumu finally hitting level 6 himself. That's ClearLove. That really does open up all your options if you're World Elite.
We actually see ClearLove wandering bottom lane looking. They're actually pinging the wards they want him to clear out. But Diamond could be there if there's a potential 3v3. He sneaks into that brush but gets seen by a ward. He'll clear that one out. And M5 will be ready if he decides to stick around. But instead, it looks like he's just going to clear out more wards. And Diamond's going to look to meet him here. Let's see if anything happens.
Well, they could possibly 3v3 this one. Diamond's waiting around. There's Ghosty Pepper. He immediately runs backwards. He's got his own ward and sees that. Xiaomei actually taking a lot of damage. Darian has ult. That's going to be a lot of burn damage. Will he bleed enough? He's got some armor and magic resist getting lower. Nope, the double Doran's Blade out regenning Darian's bleed. He's going to get away from that one. Uh-oh, but here comes Alex Ish. He's going to jump over the wall. I think he outranged his ultimate.
Oh, no, he did a bit of a fadeaway hook shot. He was going to try to just burst through to Xiaomei, but he just didn't quite get there. Double Thorn Shield and the Health Crystal, really just making sure Darian can't kill him. But with that, he is losing lane a little bit, because 90 to 69 is the only lane. Sorry, not the only lane. It's so strange because I see the 1,000 gold advantage, and I assume they're winning the lanes, but a lot of that has to do with TF, and a lot of that just has to do with the bottom lane. So
ClearLove's super ahead as well. It's the bottom lane of the jungle, but on the other side of it, Alex Ish is winning lane against Messiah's Twisted Fate, and Darian is winning his lane top against Xiaomei. So, you know, honestly, this thing is split even down the middle right now. Top lane, mid lane, better for M5. Jungle, bottom lane, better for World Elite.
So Messiah really been completely contained by Alex thus far. Level 10, yet to use his Twisted Fate ultimate. When are they going to do that? They're now grouping up. They have the Oracles clear on the Dragon. They've spent so much time clearing around this that there's no way M5 knows where they are. This is a completely uncontested dragon for WE. Good
Now
move.
it's a really, really good move. There we go. That's been picked up, and they timed it right after Alex East recalled back, if you notice as well. So that had to be a team call saying, look, their mid lane can't show up in time. They've got free ward coverage. Let's grab that one out. And that's, I mean, that is definitely that Oracle's paying so many dividends here. Now Diamond getting his own. He puts one down, walks right by one. To pick that one up. Nice little 25 gold picked up there. And now both these teams are going to start blinding each other. We've got no kills, but they've been posturing quite a bit in this game so far. This could really explode at any time because as they're getting more and more farmed, the damage just scales up every single time.
And if we're going to see a fight here, I expect it to be near Diamond, just because he's picked up the Oracle's Elixir. That's what WE's been using to keep them away. And if they can get that down, they're going to completely take him down. And the bottom turret actually falls. So much pressure was been applied by Wei Zhao and FZZF. That's going to be a cue for Twisted Fate to get a little bit more map control. Those two are now going to go to other lanes and start shoving them around. This could very well kickstart this match.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big deal for them. And they've, of course, gotten so far ahead now. You can see most of a Trinity Force completed. Phage, Sheen, and the Berserker's Greaves already done for Wei Zhao's Corki. He's going to have a lot of mid-game damage at this point. He's pretty far ahead overall.
1,100 gold ahead, actually.
Yeah, it's huge. He's doing a massively amazing job. And the one thing I actually want to point out about this as well is they've been chain pushing to a turret against a Taric with a Xin Zhao jungle. That's two hard crowd controls that could show up at any time, and they've been doing it fearlessly. The ward coverage, their ability to kind of predict where they're going, they've gotten away from it every time.
And actually, 4 members coming top lane. They're going to just crunch down on Darren. He's got flash, but man, he is dead.
Oh man, the ult comes out. Everyone just showing up. First blood. Everybody participating in that first kill. And I'm looking down the right-hand side, and that was 2 ults used for it. Maybe 3 if you count Corki.
And that's actually, they didn't need 5 members up there to kill him. That's a huge commitment. Because of that, you can see Alex pushing mid and also Genja pushing bottom. Even with that kill, oh my goodness, teleport bottom from Xiaomei, holding it off. But they are going to lose that mid turret for that gank, so definitely an overcommit from that. Got the kill, but gave up the turret.
Yeah, I guess at the end, you know, showing up with Messiah there does give them a lot of pressure in the mid lane, but that was just, it's what we saw with any sort of aggressive lane swap where the AD carry support kills the turret and then immediately goes somewhere else to keep pushing. And they just had Xiaomei sit around because, well, we'll get a free gank out of it and it'll just teleport bottom anyway, so no big deal. So there we go, 2-1 in turret kills. Nice job, WE, making all the right moves early on. They're up a kill, they're up a turret, they're up a dragon. They're doing everything right, it seems.
Clear Love actually getting caught up by Alex.
He's taking a little bit of damage there. He's going to get found by Diamond as well. The stun comes off. Another stun to the back of him. Clear Love crushed down. 3 members of M5 making that one happen. Nice moves there. The knock up into the Taric stun was just exactly what they needed here.
He loses the Oracles too, so that's a big play for them. He picked up the Oracles before getting his second GP10, and actually Wei Zhao forcing Alex to flash over the wall. With that mid turret down, I gotta say, even though WE has 2 turrets to 1, I think M5 gets more map control from that. So much is unlocked when you get that middle turret, as we saw when they were able to pick up Clear Love's Amumu.
Yeah, and you're seeing Darien uncontested in the top lane right now. Actually, Xin Zhao, if he waits around on the brush, he might be actually baiting out Wei Zhao. Oh, look at that. He's going to get walked right into on. There's the damage output. Goes for the knockup. He's going to get that one. Oh, he flashes the pull. He's going to make it out, but still, that's flashed down. They burned... you know, I mean, burning Corki's flash is going to be a lot easier to kill now.
Yeah, and that huge advantage that they'd accumulated in the bottom lane is getting away pretty fast because Xiaomei went bottom, reshoved the lane back to Genja, and Genja's been down there the entire time. You can now see 144 to 129 in the minion kills, and that's pretty close. That's not that bad. Genja again going for his triple Doran's Blade build. That's exactly what he did on Ashe as well. Really likes just having that extra durability before going into an Infinity Edge. And, you know, still waiting on Messiah to start taking control of this game because they could have gotten that kill top without him going up, and that probably would have saved the mid turret. He's got the blue buff. He's gotten a little bit of AP. We'll see how they end up playing with this Twisted Fate because it's a very passive play, but I'm not to argue because WE Messiah is the best Twisted Fate in the world. It's just how's M5 dealing with it and why hasn't he done anything yet?
And just because I think none of the lanes were available for so long. You know, again, that bottom lane just pushed back to its turret over and over and over. Darien, I mean, he just straight up won his lane, and apparently nothing was available ever for the counterattack, for the gank. So there was nowhere for him to go ultimately. You know, there's no lane to snowball. Right? You said that's how he ganks, and there just wasn't anything available to him. And that's M5. That's everyone individually playing so well that they were keeping up, or they were just safe in general, and they blocked out any possibilities. Yeah, they are spamming pings on Xiaomei. Let's see if they go for anything onto Olaf. FCZF waiting around by his turret as well. Looks like they don't quite get anything here. Messiah and Clearlove now back to the mid lane.
Diamond had actually had to, he burned FZZF's flash earlier, and now 3 members coming in for Xiaomei, but he's got his ult and Ghost. If he wants to get away, he will.
All right, the Golden buff is on. Knock him into the air. They're going to pull him back. There is the ult finally forced to be used. Misses the undertow, but does walk away from that one. Yeah, he's going to get stunned by Ghost Pepper. He kind of had to burn that, but it now gives him control over this turret, and no one is even trying to stop them. They're just letting Wei Xiao farm up on the left-hand side of the map and get more gold for himself. But they're not making any moves to even try to defend that turret. That's going to make it 2 for 2, and 5's going to tie up the turret kills. When you look at that, 24,000 to 25,000, pretty close.
Ultimate.
Oh, the ultimate. Alex is getting crushed on right there. Would you look at the damage output? Nice try turning it back around, but won't quite get it. Great gank happening, and that, I think that came from Destiny.
3 members of M5 actually coming up. They might look to fight. FZZ has no flash.
Oh my gosh, they're going to get the knock up there. He's going to get dunked on. There's the first kill picked up for Darian. Now a 4-on-4. Ghost Pepper will fall very, very fast. Darian now stuck suddenly in the middle of everybody. Tries to get in. Can he get clear left? There's Vision. Double kill for Darian. He's going to get traded back out, but that was 2 good kills and a nice 2 for 2 trade.
Just in time for the Dragon as well. The double kill is good, but that was a great play by WE overall. Oh no, Diamond and Genja actually coming around. They might not be able to get this Dragon. They don't have smite, so they don't want to engage. They might just try to have to fight this.
They're going to push in on Genja. Look at the damage down below half health. The stun card is going to get locked in. He flashes for Genja. He's going to do so much damage. Diamond flashes out, but Wei Xiao. And it's going to be Oracles down. Oh, that is bad. That is a 5 for 2 over the last 45 seconds here. And once again, they try for Dragon.
So really, this game taking a bit of an acceleration turn here. It was very slow for the first 18 minutes, but in the last minute, so much has happened. And would you look at that, Darian with a Warmogs on on Darius. So every game for Darian, he's building that Warmogs armor. He really gets it. He does Warmogs, he stacks resistance, he gets as much effective tankiness as possible. Getting back to the game though, you know, 4,000 good plays, Death Cap being completed on Messiah. Really just can't say enough at how well both these teams have been farming lanes.
Yeah,
we'll have to see what happens.
I know when we cast the Iceland game on the second stream, you talked about Globals being really, really good for the mid game and sort of controlling around the mid game. Well, we are 19.5 minutes into that mid game, and suddenly Messiah turned it on 3-0-3. You know, I was like, how did he get Death Cap? He wasn't doing that great. He only has 3 kills, 3 assists. He's made his team just do everything suddenly. And there's that mid game pressure you're seeing. Because, you know, now that the lanes are breaking down, right? You're not into full-on team fights yet, but you're onto like these like 3-on-3s and 2-on-2s, guys moving everywhere. Suddenly that teleport, those initiations, they've set up everything now for WE.
You actually look at the gold, and it's 800 difference. People are screaming right now. I got a little distracted. I'm sorry. I think there's a fight that's going to happen in 30 seconds. That was very confusing. My bad.
There's a lot of Mandarin all at once. All right.
So let's set this up then. There's an invade here. They're going in for the red buff. We'll see what M5 decides to do, but I'm expecting things to go a little crazy because I thought someone in the fans were shouting, but
yeah. All right, but you've got, looks like some card lock coming in. Again, you've got decent work coverage. The ult comes down. They're going to find Singe out, and look at that. Everyone just shows up out of nowhere. Diamond's not going to like his fate much. Oh my God, Tula just diving in, gets the ult. There's a lot of pain going off, and there's the perfectly timed Sona ult, the crescendo, making 2 kills happen, make that 3 kills happen, and now Darian's getting chased down. So, you know, he's not going to go for it. They're pinging Baron.
And because of the 3 kills, it's only Genja and Darian alive. They are both at full health, though, so they're going to be in for this Baron. They're fairly low. Clearlove is out of mana. They burned the Immovable ult. There's no Twisted Fate ultimate and no Crescendo, so a 5v2. Darian's going to be very hard to kill. This could actually be fairly well contested if they decide to go here. They got to take their time, though. They can't go in right away. Missed apprehend. They will be going in at this for some point because they are not going to be giving up Baron, or W is going to have to disengage. This is going to be really close.
Again, just playing it really well, staying very far back. Wei Xiao getting a little bit of punishment on him. Again, damage on a Darian doesn't matter too much. Baron down below 3,000 health. They're pushing in harder. They're going to try to get clear left. There's the stun. Genja not in a good shape. He's going to fall immediately. Now Darian's in the middle. He tries to dunk on a Wei Xiao. Will the bleed be enough? He flashes back. It's not going to be enough. The bleed is still going to keep ticking. He might get low. Diamond's coming from the side. Can he get anything? That is Baron going down. Diamond's ult is not up. He can't capitalize. No, he will try. He'll go for Xiaomei, but he's going to go ult and Ghost. There's no way Diamond chases that one down. That's going to be just the 2 kills picked up there and the Baron cleanly. WE, it's their second 5-kill streak in a row.
And just like that, they have taken complete control of the game. A couple timely initiates with the Amumu and Twisted Fate together, and they just turned it on, getting that Baron Nashor as well as multiple kills. Now you can see M5 trying to push down a little bit. They got to be careful. to not overstay their welcome. They're going to get the turret, but from here I'm expecting W to just try to roll right through the mid lane because that mid turret is still up.
Oh my gosh, would you believe that? Yeah, you know, it's a good counterattack though on the back from M5. They actually just took down that second middle turret, but it's the only place they've actually, I take that back, not the only place. You know, they're actually surprisingly in all this winning in turrets. ClearLove getting stunned out, not able to take away that blue.
TF Salt's up in a second. They might go for a fight here.
He's locked a gold card. There's the Destiny. Who's going to land on it? It's going to be Tarek and Diamond. And oh my gosh, Xin Zhao, you are not in a good place. He ults to try to keep himself alive a little bit longer. It's not going to matter too much. Messiah gets the credit for that one. Lichbane up very soon for him, and they're going to keep on moving that mid lane. It's a likely prediction.
So Wei Zhao doing his best to clear out the bottom lane, making sure that doesn't shove away. Darian's Warmog stacking resist like we expect them to, but that is just not enough tankiness considering Trinity Force already happened onto Wei Zhao. Death cap very soon, Lichbane, as you said, on Twisted Fate, and that mid turret getting crushed down. They're going to keep going. The death timer's still there on Diamond. They have the creeps. They have the Baron buff. They're going to have to wait for the next wave. Maybe. They're really putting the pressure on.
Sammy's happy to tank that turret on the back door. His health bar barely even moving at this point. Shirley is almost back up. That's going to allow them another engagement if they want to go for it. Turret down below half. M5, you see them poking a little bit, but ultimately definitely running away there. I know it's a risky place to be.
So WE, during the World Championships, would always dominate the first 20 minutes of the game and then have trouble finishing. But right at 20 minutes in this match, they got Baron and have so far in the last 4 minutes since then just crushed. You can see Moscow 5 kind of trying to counterattack, but they're falling farther and farther behind. That's a 10,000 gold lead that has developed now for everyone on WE. They're making sure to split push the side lanes, trying to not get caught in a position, and for the most part doing a fantastic job of controlling. M5 really trying to counterattack here. Let's see if they get this turret.
Yeah, they're going to try for that one. Looks like Zame still at the top lane. He does have teleport, though. Mumu is making his way down, and the minions I don't think will reach the turret in time. WE should be able to hold on, unless they choose not to fight for some reason.
Yeah, M5 cannot push in there once they realize they were defending.
Exactly. They immediately just ran back on that one. And the minion wave gets crushed down, and there's not a lot of openings here for M5. Now, I do want to hand it to what they did in the last 3 minutes or so, which was they got more or less ace, they lost Baron, and they still ran around and took down a turret and stole a blue buff. That, you know, they knew even though they knew they were behind in gold, their present position on the map was that they could get those kind of picked up.
They stole a blue buff, and then Messiah killed them. So he got the blue buff again, right? So
okay, that's a fair point.
He got a fatty blue buff that was a person. So that was nice.
And it's worth like 4 times as much gold.
Yeah.
All right, that's a fair point. Okay, but you know they are playing, you know, confidently at the very least, though. Or they're saying
they are.
You know,
they're definitely trying to keep the pressure up.
Yes, and I think that's pretty vital because you don't want to just constantly get outscaled and pressured on the map. But if they can make things happen, it's a good thing. I mean, realistically, the most of WE could get caught out and die. You know, theoretically. I mean, okay, Olaf can run away from almost anything, but that's about it.
Well, you can see Olaf's up top, split pushing. He has his teleport up. They had the timer on this dragon. ClearLove was waiting for it. They're really just making sure they keep this objective control, and they're keeping, or at least trying to keep, Moscow 5 corralled. Genja doesn't have his items yet. You know, he's just on that Infinity Edge. Here's a whole Trinity Force completed onto Wei Zhao, and they're all pushing bottom here. I'd expect the 3 of them to push bottom, hope for a fight, and then have Twisted Fate and Olaf teleport in from behind.
Yeah, exactly. They got 2 people who can show up kind of anywhere on the map. It's going to be pretty much free for them. ClearLove crushing away on the golems. You can see Messiah, again, just kind of crushing everything down. And M5 is starting to move towards the bottom half of the map, though. A bit of ward coverage. That's going to, oh, nice. Perfect ward from FCZF. He's going to spot that. And here comes the fight. Sammy's going to have to teleport to this one pretty soon, I'm going to guess. There's the Destiny.
Here they come.
Oh, nice. And oh, the ult's going to catch Diamond. Darian's not in a great place either. Perfect crescendo from Sona. That is one going down. Diamond jumping over the wall. ClearLove. Here comes 2 more flashes. They're all going to jump in. Salme managed to show up as well. A lot of damage coming on here. Darian goes down. Alex E stuck in the middle. Messiah not taking any damage. Suddenly 11 assists on him. And that is 3 people dead. And WE does not show signs of stopping.
This is exquisite execution from WE. They're making Moscow 5 look bad in a sense. Like there's nothing they can do against this. Everything that's happening is just getting completely crushed. Perfect execution, just max range stuns into more stuns, and this is an inhibitor. They have no chance of defending. Already at 27 minutes, 15 kills to 3 free.
Oh my gosh, and that is the inhibitor going down. The Baron not too far away, I'm going to guess. It should be spawning in the pretty near future. But, I mean, look at that. Tanky Olaf will happily sit there on the back door and let them crush that turret down. I mean, he's got, you know, thousands of health, a lot of armor. Here comes initiation. Diamond going to make it happen. The Terra falling immediately. Diamond going to die second as well. 2 for 0 here. WE still not wanting to stop this at all. I mean, that was probably the best time for M5 to try to fight was by their back door, but they couldn't make anything happen there.
Genja just trying desperately to get back in, but you can see he's just scared of Wei Zhao. Darian scaring him back, but 17 kills to 3 now. That's 7 turrets to 4. They really turned it on in the past 10 minutes or so. 4-0-13 on Masai. He's been a part all of their kills.
Literally every kill.
Every single kill, and has not died. So most of them, obviously, the team has been involved. Everyone has been involved in at least 12, but still, Messiah really creating everything. And you can't really say that's just because of Twisted Fate, because the whole team has been coordinated so well around what Messiah's been doing, and it's really just been great team execution the whole way.
And I really gotta say, like, these team fights I'm watching, and every single time it's, you know, Twisted Fate lands a stun, and Clearlove always jumps on that guy, and he pops Curse the Sad Mummy, so 1.5 second long route. The second that is done, FCF is there for crescendo. If he has to flash, he'll do it. But every single time, Clearlove catches 2 people with the Amumu ult, and then FCF is there with the Sona to back that up. And it's a 3-second area of effect lockdown when you do that. Nothing's going to survive that, and you've seen over and over. Darian, who's got freaking Chain Vest, Negatron Cloak, and a Warmogs, is dying under that kind of assault.
They're making, essentially, Clearlove's Bandage Toss unmissable when they go in with Messiah's ultimate. So the map control is definitely showing. The gold lead is definitely showing. Even if they got caught in some kind of 4v5, I'd still think they'd come out on top here. With the Lich Bane on Messiah as well, they're going to be able to take down turrets extremely fast. Their Baron buff is now gone, but you can just see here comes a split push. Messiah taking down bottom. Again, Xiaomei in mid lane, half the cooldown on his teleport. And Wei Zhao and FZZF just walking around with oracles. They might look to just try to kill Darian here. Would be a little risky, but man, they go right in.
They just jump in. Looks like a 1 versus 2 right now, but if they can buy enough time for a teammate, just look at his health bar dropping. Would you believe that? Wei Zhao doesn't even take hardly any damage. I was like, okay, maybe they'll buy enough time for a teammate. No, he just melted Darian straight up in a 2-on-1. That was nice.
You can just look at that. There's 12,500 gold onto Wei Zhao. So his endgame 80 carry build is almost here. Just across the board, that's now a 17,000 gold advantage. This game is snowballing hard against it. This Baron coming down, of course, nothing Moscow 5 can do against it. Makes the lead even larger. I'd expect them, if they don't go back to base now, to try to end on this push.
Well, they've got an available turret up the top there. They've got an available inhibitor in the middle after they do that. Looks like they've got minions piling in. Clearlove trying to go around the side. If he can catch out Genja, Genja's going to almost certainly fall under that sort of just plethora of crowd control here. That turret does fall. It's going to be their 8th of the game now, doubling M5's kills. For those of you just joining us, this is the first round of the winner bracket. 0-0 score. It's a best of 3, so don't go anywhere. M5 can still turn this one around in the end overall. But WE are looking to kill the base right here, going for the inhibitor.
Yeah, Moscow 5 is going to have to fight them, probably the 3rd inhibitor, but it's probably going to be in vain. You don't just want to give up all 3 inhibs. You almost never see someone come back from that, especially when they're already down 20,000 gold. 19,000, but I'm rounding. I think it's okay. Enough. They're getting the blue buff freshly for Messiah. Can hear the shouts already coming out. I'm guessing they're going to be diving this inhibitor about 30 seconds. We'll see if this happens.
All right, the pokes going back and forth. Xiaomei going for a bit of damage. Darian dropped by about a 5th of his health. The turret goes down. That's not going to be great. A nice ult from Diamond, though. He's going to be tanky. It doesn't even matter. He falls off. Darian down to half. Alex Ish toward the front. What they're going to go for. Xiaomei jumping in. Alex taking a lot of punishment. Ran to his pop as well. Wei Zhao's godlike to take down Darian.
Wow.
Alex taking the pain. Double kill. Tarek falls down. Xiaomei now in the front. He's getting hurt pretty bad. Guardian Angel is up. It's going to be Alex Ish trying to show back up with so much first. That's Messiah picked up his 6th kill of the game, and now the Nectar is going to go down, and Team WE from China are going to go up 1-0 over M5 BenQ from Russia.
That was really impressive. That is the World Elite that has the first 20 minutes of the game and then knows exactly how to finish it. During the World Finals, you could tell they were a fairly new team. I know Clearlove had joined them like a week or 2 before then. FZZF was only a couple days before that as well. And they're really coming together. The synergy between Clearlove, FZZF, and Messiah, especially in that game, was absolutely unreal. Clearlove had looked to be kind of the weak link during the World Championships. He did not look like a weak link there. Everywhere he needed to be with the Amumu ults, sacrificing himself when needed, and really on point across the board.
Yeah, every single team fight was there, and that was what I thought during the pregame, that like, okay, M5, we know there's like amazing, ridiculous individual all-stars on WE, and of course, like a great skill on M5 as well, but like their wheelhouse was team fighting, right? They would always turn it on at the end of the game and make it happen, and that was never allowed. That even if they mechanically fought perfectly, the gold lead would just grown so much over and over.
Team fights barely happen.
Yeah, it was like Team Slaughters, right? It was like team initiates, 2 guys died, well, it's 3v5, bye.
They found every fight they wanted to, and it was a slow game to start, and then a fast game to finish, if that makes any sense. All the action happened between about 18 and 30 minutes, and then it was